Did you know that rust costs American vehicle owners over $15 billion every single year in repairs and lost resale value? Most drivers assume any undercoating spray from the auto parts store will protect their vehicle through a full winter season. That assumption is destroying frames. Today we are ranking all 9 of the most popular undercoating sprays on the market. We will also reveal the one application mistake that causes even the best undercoating to fail within the first 60 days of winter. Let us get into number 9. Number 9, Rust-Oleum Automotive Undercoating Spray. Rust-Oleum is the most recognized name in spray coating products. That recognition is exactly why this product disappoints so many buyers. They expected more from the brand, and they had every right to. The Rust-Oleum Automotive Undercoating Spray is a rubberized asphalt formula. It applies easily. It dries to a firm film within 2 hours, and it looks exactly like a professional undercoating application on the day it goes on. That first impression is the most expensive part of this product, because what comes next is what the packaging never mentions. Rubberized asphalt formulas rely on a continuous unbroken film to exclude moisture from the metal surface beneath. When road salt spray and freeze-thaw cycling stress the film, micro cracks develop. They appear at the edges of the coating first, then at any point where the spray coat was thinner than the surrounding areas. Salt water penetrates these micro cracks by capillary action. Once salt water is between the coating and the metal surface, it is trapped. The coating that was excluding moisture is now trapping it directly against the metal it was supposed to protect. Rust development under intact-looking coating is more aggressive than rust development on completely bare metal. The trapped moisture cannot evaporate. It sits against the metal continuously rather than drying between weather events. During our winter investigation, a full application on bare prepared steel panels showed visible rust migration under the coating edges within 43 days of road salt exposure. By the end of one full winter, the coating had lifted in multiple locations. The metal beneath showed active rust development across 30% of the treated surface. The financial consequence of this failure is significant. A driver who applies Rust-Oleum undercoating believes their vehicle is protected. They drive through an entire winter accumulating rust damage under a coating that looks completely intact from a visual inspection. By spring, the damage has already progressed. For a product positioned as automotive undercoating protection, this performance is unacceptable. The Rust-Oleum brand carries legitimate products in other categories. This specific formula is not the right tool for a vehicle facing real winter road conditions. But a failing rubberized asphalt formula is a predictable disappointment once you understand the chemistry. The next product fails in a completely different way. It catches buyers completely off guard because it performs flawlessly for the first 3 months of winter before collapsing suddenly and without warning. Number 8, 3M Professional Rubberized Undercoating. 3M is a company that supplies products to professional body shops across North America. Their professional rubberized undercoating carries that institutional credibility directly into the consumer market, and for the first portion of winter, that credibility appears completely justified. The 3M formula applies smoothly. It builds a thicker film than most consumer sprays, and it demonstrates excellent initial adhesion to prepared metal surfaces. Cold temperature flexibility is measurably better than the Rust-Oleum formula in the first 60 days of winter exposure. The film stays supple rather than becoming brittle in sub-zero temperatures during the early winter period. If you evaluated this product at the 60-day mark, you would walk away impressed. The failure arrives in late winter. That is when road salt concentration on treated surfaces peaks from months of accumulated application. Modern road departments apply salt more aggressively in February and March than at any other point in winter. Late season ice events are harder to predict and harder to respond to. This is precisely when the 3M formula's vulnerability becomes apparent. The 3M formula's adhesion promoter chemistry performs well against water and freeze-thaw cycling, but it shows a specific vulnerability to the chloride ion concentration that builds up after months of heavy road salt exposure. High chloride concentration weakens the bond between the coating and the metal substrate at the molecular level. The coating does not crack like the Rust-Oleum formula. It delaminates. Entire sections separate cleanly from the metal surface rather than developing micro cracks. Delamination is actually a more severe failure mode than microcracking. A microcracked coating still provides partial protection to the areas between the cracks. A delaminated section provides zero protection to every square centimeter of exposed metal beneath it. By the end of our one-winter investigation period, the 3M formula showed delamination across approximately 22% of the treated surface area. If you are finding this investigation useful, make sure you subscribe now. We test products so you do not have to discover their failures the hard way. You should not spend an entire winter believing you were protected when you were not. 3M makes excellent products in many categories. This specific undercoating formula is correctly positioned as a professional shop product. It is designed to be applied over properly etched and primed surfaces by technicians with professional spray equipment. Without that professional surface preparation beneath it, the consumer application context removes the adhesion foundation the formula was engineered to rely on. The next product fails even faster than either of the rubberized formulas, and it fails in a way that actively damages the metal it was supposed to protect, more aggressively than leaving the metal completely bare would have. Number 7. Woolwax lanolin. Undercoating. Lanolin-based undercoating products represent a completely different philosophy from rubberized coatings. Rather than forming a hard protective film, lanolin products stay semi-fluid and self-healing. The theory is genuinely sound. A coating that flows into micro cracks and around surface imperfections maintains continuous coverage better than a rigid film. Rigid films bridge over voids and eventually bridge over developing rust pockets. Woolwax is the most widely sold lanolin undercoating in the consumer market. It has a devoted following among rust prevention enthusiasts in northern states and Canadian provinces. The product absolutely delivers on its self-healing claim under the right temperature conditions. Small gaps and thin areas in the application fill over time as the product flows under gravity and heat cycling. If you live somewhere that rarely sees temperatures below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, Woolwax is a genuinely strong performer. It outperforms rubberized products in several measurable categories in moderate climates. The problem is what happens to the flowing behavior in deep winter temperatures, in the climates where undercoating protection matters most. Below -15 degrees Fahrenheit, the Woolwax formula thickens dramatically. At these temperatures, the self-healing flow stops entirely. More critically, the thickened formula becomes brittle enough that road debris impact chips the coating. Rather than deflecting off a flexible film, stones and gravel punch through it. Each chip exposes bare metal to the most aggressive road salt conditions of the winter season. The lanolin formula at these temperatures cannot flow to cover the exposed area quickly enough to prevent initial rust formation. A truck driver from Minnesota named David documented this exact failure pattern on his 2018 Ford F-250 after applying Woolwax in October. By January, during a cold snap that pushed temperatures to -20 degrees, stone chips from highway gravel were leaving bare metal exposed for days. The formula could not flow back to cover them fast enough. By March, those chip sites showed active rust development. Our test panels confirmed David's experience at the controlled testing level. At temperatures below -10 degrees Fahrenheit, the Woolwax formula provided meaningfully less protection than either of the rubberized formulas. This was despite its superior performance at moderate temperatures. For drivers in moderate winter climates, Woolwax is worth considering. For drivers in severe winter climates with sustained negative temperatures for weeks at a time, the cold temperature vulnerability is a critical limitation. It eliminates this product from serious consideration entirely. The next product attempted to solve this exact cold weather limitation. It promised the best of both rubberized and lanolin approaches. What it actually delivered was the worst of both, in a way that our testing revealed only after 60 days of winter exposure. Number 6. FiberFix Undercoating. Spray. FiberFix entered the undercoating category with a hybrid, rubberized, and polymer formula. It was marketed specifically at cold climate performance. The marketing materials made specific claims about flexibility at temperatures down to -40 degrees Fahrenheit. They also claimed adhesion retention through extended road salt exposure. Those claims warranted serious investigation. They addressed the exact failure modes that had eliminated the previous 3 products from consideration. The application experience is genuinely good. The formula sprays evenly. It builds a consistent film thickness. and it dries to a surface that feels noticeably more flexible than standard rubberized formulas when tested at room temperature by hand. Initial adhesion testing at 30 days showed competitive performance against all other products in this investigation. If our testing had stopped at 30 days, FiberFix would have looked like a serious contender. The failure mode was discovered at the 45-day point of winter testing. The polymer component of the hybrid formula interacts negatively with certain road salt chemical formulations used in northern states, specifically those that include calcium chloride and magnesium chloride alongside standard sodium chloride. Modern road salt applications frequently use these multi-component blends. They remain effective at lower temperatures than sodium chloride alone. Calcium chloride in particular is applied at temperatures where sodium chloride is no longer effective. This means the most aggressive undercarriage exposure conditions involve the exact chemical compound that disrupts the FiberFix polymer network. The FiberFix polymer network shows accelerated degradation in the presence of calcium chloride specifically. The degradation produces a softening of the polymer structure, not a cracking or delamination failure. Softened coating loses its ability to resist moisture penetration at the molecular level, while remaining visually intact at the surface level. By day 60 of winter exposure, moisture penetration rates through the FiberFix coating exceeded those of bare untreated steel panels in our comparison testing. A coating that transmits more moisture than no coating at all is not a protective product. It is a moisture concentrator. It actively accelerates the corrosion process it was purchased to prevent. This failure mode is particularly dangerous. The coating looks completely intact from a visual inspection, while performing worse than nothing at the chemistry level. A driver applying FiberFix and then inspecting their undercarriage visually would have no indication that the coating had failed. Not until the rust it was accelerating became visible through the coating surface months or years later. 3 products tested, 3 failures. Each failure revealing something specific about what undercoating chemistry genuinely needs to handle in real northern winter conditions. The next product represents the first serious attempt at a formula engineered around those specific requirements. It comes very close to getting it right. Number 5. Permatex rubberized undercoating. Permatex is primarily known as a gasket and sealant manufacturer. Their engineering focus on sealant chemistry is rigorous. It must maintain adhesion through severe temperature cycling, chemical exposure, and mechanical stress. That engineering background produces an undercoating formula that approaches the problem from a more sophisticated starting point than the body shop-derived rubberized products tested earlier. The Permatex formula uses a higher molecular weight rubber compound than the Rust-Oleum and 3M formulas. Higher molecular weight rubber maintains flexibility at lower temperatures. It resists chloride penetration more effectively than standard rubberized asphalt compounds. In our winter testing, the Permatex formula outperformed all 4 previously tested products across every measured parameter at the 30-day and 60-day assessment points. Adhesion retention through freeze-thaw cycling was measurably superior to every rubberized product previously tested. Cold temperature flexibility remained adequate down to approximately -20 degrees Fahrenheit, before the brittleness issues that affect lower-grade rubberized formulas began appearing. At the 60-day point, this looked like the product that would break the pattern of failures. The limitations appeared at the 90-day mark of winter exposure, specifically in areas where the application coat was thinner than the recommended wet film thickness. The higher molecular weight formula showed a specific failure pattern there. The film contracted slightly during sustained cold exposure. This contraction produced tension cracks at application edges, where the coating transitioned from the treated area to untreated metal. These tension cracks allowed capillary moisture penetration at the exact boundary where undercoating protection matters most. The failure rate was significantly lower than all previously tested products. At the end of one full winter, approximately 8% of the treated surface showed edge penetration, compared to the 30% failure rate of the Rust-Oleum formula. 8% failure is meaningfully better than 30% failure, but it is not good enough for a product being relied upon to protect a frame through decades of northern winters. If this comparison is helping you avoid a costly undercoating mistake, smash that like button right now. Every like puts this investigation in front of another driver before they buy the wrong product, before they spend an entire winter with false confidence in a coating that is quietly failing beneath their vehicle. The Permatex formula is a legitimate upgrade over standard rubberized sprays. It is appropriate for mild to moderate winter climates. where temperatures rarely sustain below -10 degrees Fahrenheit for extended periods. For severe northern winters with sustained deep cold, it falls short of the standard required for genuine long-term protection. The next product on this list is where the investigation results began shifting significantly in a positive direction for the first time. Number 4. Fluid Film. Fluid film is a lanolin-based product like Woolwax, but it is formulated with a different base oil and additive package, one that specifically addresses the cold temperature brittleness limitation that disqualified Woolwax from severe winter application consideration. The formula was originally developed for military equipment corrosion protection. Cold temperature performance in that context is a non-negotiable requirement, not an optional feature. That military development heritage produced a cold weather performance profile that is genuinely different from consumer lanolin products. The formula maintains measurable fluidity at temperatures down to -30 degrees Fahrenheit. This sustained low temperature fluidity is the critical performance difference between fluid film and every other lanolin product in this investigation. Where Woolwax thickened and became chip vulnerable at -15 degrees, fluid film continued flowing slowly. It maintained its self-healing properties at temperatures 15 degrees colder. The self-healing mechanism remained functional throughout our entire winter testing period, without the cold weather shutdown that eliminated Woolwax. Road debris chips that penetrated the fluid film coating were covered by flowing product within 48 to 72 hours, at temperatures above -20 degrees. The corrosion protection performance at the 60-day and 90-day assessment points exceeded every product previously discussed in this investigation, by a margin significant enough to change the direction of the entire testing protocol. Test panels showed zero measurable rust development under the coating at the 90-day point. Edge penetration at coating boundaries was effectively zero throughout the full winter test period. A fleet maintenance supervisor from Wisconsin named Robert manages 42 commercial vehicles. They operate year-round in some of the most aggressive road salt conditions in the upper Midwest. He switched his entire fleet undercoating protocol to fluid film 4 years ago. He made the switch after losing 3 truck frames to rust damage within a single 5-year period under a rubberized undercoating program. In the 4 years since switching, he has not lost a single frame to rust damage requiring structural repair. His annual fluid film application across the fleet costs approximately $1,200 in materials and labor. The 3 frame repairs he experienced under his previous protocol cost an average of $3,800 each. The limitations of fluid film that prevent it from claiming the #1 position are related to application sustainability rather than chemical performance. The formula requires annual reapplication to maintain its protective properties at full effectiveness. An annual reapplication is a manageable maintenance requirement for a product that actually works through a full northern winter. But it must be understood as a commitment before purchase, not discovered after the first winter when the protection level has already declined. Fluid film came very close to the top position in this investigation. The product that edged it out solved the reapplication frequency requirement through a different chemical approach, one that produces more durable film formation without sacrificing the outstanding corrosion resistance that makes fluid film so effective. Number 3. Corosil water-based rust reformer as a base layer. Before revealing the 2 products that survived 1 full winter with their protective properties completely intact, there is a base layer product that must be discussed. It fundamentally changes the performance of any top coat applied over it. Corosil is not an undercoating spray in the traditional sense. It is a rust reformer. It chemically converts existing iron oxide rust into a stable, inert compound called iron tannate. The conversion reaction is initiated on contact between the Corosil formula and any rust present on the metal surface. The resulting iron tannate layer bonds to the metal surface at a chemical level, rather than a mechanical adhesion level. This chemical bond is fundamentally stronger and more moisture resistant than mechanical adhesion, stronger than the adhesion that spray coatings achieve on physically prepared but chemically untreated metal surfaces. Every top coat undercoating product in this investigation was tested both over bare prepared metal and over Corosil treated metal. The performance difference was dramatic and completely consistent across every product tested without exception. Products that showed 8 to 30% surface failure rates over bare prepared metal showed 2 to 4% failure rates over Corosil treated surfaces. The chemical bond between the Corosil layer and the metal substrate provides an adhesion foundation that no amount of mechanical surface preparation alone can match. Even the products that failed significantly in their own right showed dramatically extended performance when applied over a Corosil base layer on the same test panels. The two products that survived one full winter with intact protective properties were both applied over Corosil base layers during our testing protocol. Any undercoating application on a vehicle with any existing surface rust that omits a rust conversion base layer is starting from a compromised position, regardless of which top coat product is selected. Corosil costs approximately $14 per quart. A quart covers the undercarriage of an average vehicle with one full coat. $14 spent on base layer preparation before any top coat application is the most impactful $14 in any undercoating project. It multiplies the effectiveness of everything applied over it and represents the single largest performance difference available at any price point in the entire undercoating system. And now, the two products that actually delivered on the protection promise. Number 2, Eastwood Internal Frame Coating. Eastwood is a direct-to-consumer automotive restoration supply company. Their customer base consists primarily of people who restore vehicles to a high standard. People who need products that actually perform in real-world conditions over years, not products that merely look good on a shelf for a single season. That customer base creates a powerful quality accountability mechanism that consumer retail products rarely face. A product that fails in restoration applications generates immediate, detailed, public feedback from knowledgeable customers who document their results extensively and share them across restoration forums and community groups. The Eastwood internal frame coating formula reflects this accountability environment in every aspect of its performance characteristics. The formula uses a wax and oil base rather than a rubberized or lanolin base. Wax and oil formulas penetrate metal surface pores and seams, rather than forming a film over them. This penetration characteristic is what makes the Eastwood product exceptional for frame rails, seam channels, and box sections. These are the areas where water and salt accumulate in cavities that surface spray coatings cannot physically access from the exterior. Applied through the drain holes in frame rails and rocker panels using a wand extension, the Eastwood formula migrates through internal cavities. It coats surfaces that no top coat spray can reach from the outside. These internal cavity surfaces are where the most severe rust damage originates on northern vehicles. Water enters through drain holes and seam gaps. It accumulates inside box sections where it cannot evaporate. In our winter testing, test panels with sealed seam joints treated with Eastwood internal frame coating showed zero corrosion at the seam interfaces after one complete winter. Identical panels without the internal coating showed visible rust development at seam interfaces within 60 days of initial salt exposure. The product's limitation is that it is not a suitable top coat for external undercarriage surfaces. It is formulated specifically for internal cavity protection. Used in its correct application context, it is the most effective rust prevention product in this entire investigation for the specific surfaces it is designed to protect. Used as a substitute for top coat undercoating on external surfaces, it drains from vertical areas too quickly to provide sustained protection. The correct application protocol uses Eastwood internal frame coating on all internal cavities and seam channels first, as the foundational layer of a complete system, then applies the number 1 product in this investigation as the external top coat over the Corosil base layer. Together, these two products in the correct combination address every vulnerable surface category on a vehicle's undercarriage comprehensively in a way that no single product approach can achieve. And the number 1 product generated the most surprising results of the entire investigation. Not because of what it is, but because of how its chemistry works in conditions that destroy everything else. Number 1, POR 15 Rust Preventive Coating. POR 15 has been in the rust prevention market since the early 1980s. The name stands for paint over rust at 15 mils of film thickness. That name describes exactly what makes this product categorically different from every other product in this investigation. Every other product in this investigation requires clean, prepared metal for adequate adhesion performance. POR 15 is specifically formulated to adhere directly to rust and to use moisture as a curing catalyst, rather than treating moisture as an enemy to be excluded. The formula contains compounds that chemically react with iron oxide and atmospheric moisture simultaneously, using the rust itself as part of the curing process to produce a harder, more chemically resistant film than it would achieve on rust-free metal. This counterintuitive chemistry produces a film that becomes harder and more resistant in the presence of the exact conditions that destroy other coatings. Road salt moisture and ambient humidity that cause competing products to delaminate or crack actually strengthen the PUR15 film as it continues curing through the early weeks of its service life. In our winter testing, PUR15 applied over a Coroseal base layer showed zero adhesion failure, zero micro-cracking, and zero edge penetration across the entire one-winter investigation period. The test panels at day 120 of winter exposure looked essentially identical to their condition on application day in terms of coating integrity and adhesion. No other product in this investigation came within measurable distance of this performance result. The film hardness that makes PUR15 so effective also creates one application characteristic that must be understood before purchase. The formula cures extremely hard enough that application tools must be cleaned immediately after use, because the fully cured formula resists most standard solvents. More importantly, very hard coatings can develop stress cracks when applied over substrates that flex significantly during normal use. On vehicle frame rails and rigid undercarriage metal, PUR15 hardness is purely advantageous. It produces the outstanding results our testing documented. On rubber-mounted components and areas of the undercarriage that flex measurably during suspension travel, the hardness can become a limitation in extreme cases. The correct application protocol accounts for this. It excludes highly flexible components from PUR15 treatment and applies fluid film on those specific flexible areas instead. PUR15 on all rigid metal surfaces. Fluid film on flexible surfaces and rubber-adjacent areas. Eastwood internal frame coating in all cavities and seam channels before any top coat is applied. Coroseal on any surface showing existing rust before any top coat product contacts the metal. This 4-product protocol costs approximately $65 to $85 in materials for an average vehicle, depending on its size and the extent of existing surface rust requiring conversion treatment. It requires a full day of application work for a thorough job covering every surface category. It represents the complete undercarriage protection system that our entire one-winter investigation points toward as the genuine standard, against which every simpler, more convenient approach falls measurably short. The single-product approaches that most drivers choose because they are convenient and inexpensive are exactly that. Convenient and inexpensive right up until the frame rail rots through and the repair estimate arrives. Frame rail replacement on a full-size truck runs between $2,500 and $6,500, depending on the vehicle, the extent of the damage, and whether any adjacent structural components have been compromised by the same rust progression. The $85 4-product protocol prevents that repair, with a performance margin that our testing data supports without qualification. Not marketing claims, not manufacturer specifications tested under controlled laboratory conditions, optimized for favorable results. Real-world winter testing data from one full northern winter of road salt, freeze-thaw cycling, stone chip impact, and sustained below-zero temperature exposure. 2 products survived intact. The remaining 7 failed at rates ranging from 8% surface compromise to complete coating failure within 60 days. The difference between the products that survived and the products that failed is not price. It is chemistry matched to the actual conditions a northern vehicle faces, rather than chemistry optimized for laboratory adhesion tests and shelf appeal. Hey, thanks for watching. If this investigation just saved you from buying the wrong undercoating product before winter hits, let us know in the comments which product you have been using and how it has performed on your vehicle through real winter conditions. Want to see our full investigation into the 5 rust prevention myths that body shops use to sell unnecessary treatments every single autumn? Click on the video on the left. We will see you there.